What's up, fuckers? Oh god, my hair looks trash for some reason today. I don't know what it is, but I'm just gonna look slightly lame all day. I went to put my damn drink. Oh, he's there. What have you done?
This. I did that.
Oh no. Oh no.
Just before the start, so
Just
I
before
don't
the
know
start.
how. I think I can hear you like that. I can hear you. Yeah, that's fine.
What happened? Wait, no, don't tell me.
Oh no! I actually don't know.
Oh, you just got here and your headphones were broken.
Yeah, no. I was in the room, and then I left to go do something, and then I came back and they were broken. So I've either like thrown them weirdly on the floor or like gone over it with a chair or some shit. I don't think my granddad's just walked in my room and like decided to break my headphones.
That would be funny. He walks in and snaps. I was like, stupid kid. He'll never know it was me.
I wouldn't.
It's the wrong microphone, I'm pretty sure as well.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. I look so fucking stupid today. I don't know what it is. I've slapped a hat on. Maybe that will fix all my issues. Are we good to go yet, or? I can't hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. Say some more stuff.
Ooh, I do love going down to the chippy and oohing and ahhing.
I think that'll be fine. I don't know why your camera's so overexposed today. Have you like moved it slightly? I think it's in a slightly different position.
No.
I think no. I mean sideways. I think it needs to go more. Well, yeah, like that.
More that way or more that way?
More towards the. There's two doors in that room. That doesn't help. Yeah, like that. That's good.
Yeah. Okay.
Have you
All
put the
right.
light on and you sometimes don't this time, or is
I
something
usually
different?
have the light on. That's it without. So
Oh no, I meant the. You know the light that I let you borrow.
No, that's never on.
Oh, okay. I think it's just the way this. Oh, you know those blinds behind you?
yeah.
Do they like go up the other way? Do you know what I mean? So it's shut, but like
Yeah.
the other direction.
Not one direction.
Good lord, the overexposure. Couldn't have been much of a worse position for Judd's desk. That helps, I think.
I don't think that's really done anything, has it?
I think it's helped a little bit. Hello? Is this your plan, by the way, to hear me? To have them there?
I can hear you. I can hear you just fine.
There's a massive issue with that, in that you basically turn them into a speaker and then put them right next to the microphone.
And can you hear yourself then?
Loud Fabergé egg. No.
Oh,
Okay.
well, that'll be
Well,
right then.
okay. Can you hear me okay? Is it working?
Yeah, I
all
can
right?
hear you fine. Yeah, I can hear everything you're saying.
Oh. Wow. Okay. Nice. All right, anything else we need to do? Right, no, fuck it. Let's get going. Let's get skadoodling and daddling and souping in and smelling in.
Good.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Hello.
Hey.
Smack things. That's how I feel today.
You just
do it.
end
You
it.
do the intro. You do it. I'm not doing it. Fuck
I don't want
this.
to do the intro.
Go on.
I don't
Welcome
even
everyone
wanna
back
do
to this
fucking
podcast and tell them that they can follow us on Twitter at TweetsBadly as well as Kick and also YouTube if they want to listen to the podcast live. And they could get the video version on YouTube after live and also on Spotify. Podcast Badly on
You can
Spotify.
do all that.
Tell them. You tell them.
You
I
can
ain't
also
doing it.
watch our clips on TikTok.
Nice, you did one. Okay,
Yeah.
now I feel good. Welcome back to Podcast Badly. This podcast. It's Badly.
Yeah.
Coming up in today's podcast, I think it was last week, Judd did something and told us about it. This week, I did something and I'm going to tell you about it. And I'm still tired from it. It was exhausting. It was horrific and also good. But first, bins. You know bins? You ever seen
Yeah.
a bin, Judd?
I have seen them.
You ever used
I've
one?
seen
One of
one
these
or
bin
two.
things where people put their trash in it?
Yeah, no, I've seen them before.
Who
What
takes the
about
bins
a-
out in your house?
Just no, Grandad.
It's
I
not
don't. I
you.
don't help
That's
around
all
the house. I like to watch them shamble about and suffer.
Yeah, these old elderly people who have cared about you your whole life until you're now when you're a fully grown adult.
I'm like, I'm gonna do fucking shit.
Do you do any chores?
Yeah, I mean, if ever they ask me to do something, I always do it. They've just never asked me to take the rubbish out before.
This is a thing that I
So-
don't think parents get, and especially mums. Like, of course I'm not gonna do anything unless you ask me to, and if you do, of course I'll do
Yeah.
it for you. But like, no.
Yeah.
But then mums say stuff like, "Oh, and nothing would get done if I weren't here." But then they'll go away for like 2 weeks and leave you on your own, and they come back and it's just the same.
Yeah.
Because of course you do it then, because then you have to do it. But if
The house
they'd
is like
say, if they'd
usually
ask you to
nicer.
do it, but here's another thing that I don't think mums get. This is a tangent compared to what I was actually going to tell you about. They
Go
want
on then.
more housework doing than most people think is necessary. And that's where a problem is, because
Yeah.
they think that like certain jobs need doing all the fucking time, and they don't really. But then they want you to do the level of jobs that they think is right. You
Okay.
feel me on this? Was your mum ever like this? Probably not actually your mum specifically, but
No, I mean, I don't know. I feel weird. I just feel like we're two 24 and 26-year-old men just complaining about us.
well, I'm one 26-year-old man. I don't know. You might be two 24-year-old men. I'm not
I'm
sure.
doing a trench coat.
And you're still only that tall?
Yeah, I know, we're
There's
really
really
both
small
really
men. Just like 5'6". It's not very tall. Oh god, that's funny.
We're both 2'8".
Is that how the math works? Hmm,
Yeah, that rounds about. We're both
something
we're
like
both,
that.
We're both 2'5".
I don't think that is how the math checks out.
No,
But there's
No, that's
12
not right.
inches in a
That's not right
foot,
at
so
all.
you can't just... Yeah. Anyway, but my mum always used to be like that. I live in my own house now, so I can do whatever the fuck I want, but it's my job to take out the bins every week. And annoyingly, that job falls on a Wednesday, which is when we record this shit, because the bin men pick stuff up on the Thursday morning, so it has to be done on a Wednesday evening. So I always end up scrambling to do it right before we start, and we go live. Around 6 p.m. on Wednesdays, by the way, if you want to know when we go live, either YouTube or Kick. Okay, go and leave us a follow on Kick. It's the new platform on the block. It's not perfect by any means, but it seems to be making some decent moves in the right direction. Just a quick one on those. You can now toggle a setting on your Kick account to block all hot tub and bikini streams, as well as gambling stuff. Any reference to all those across the whole site. Twitch don't do that.
I don't know why you'd want to.
Twitch actually said, "We hear all your feedback, everyone. No more gambling streams." And then guess what's allowed again about 2 months later? Gambling streams have even got their own fucking category for it, so you can make sure you can find as many as you want.
What is up with that? Like addicts or
What do you mean?
is that it? What's the problem with having gambling streams?
I think they don't want addicts to accidentally see it, but also it's like kids. It's not something to be promoting to kids, is it?
Yeah, but who gives a fuck? Like, at the end of the day, kids are gonna go watch whatever kids can watch on iPads because the mummies and daddies obviously aren't paying attention to what they do on the screen. Like,
yeah, but it's not that
know.
they shouldn't exist. Like, I think freedom of internet, like all sorts of content, should exist, unless it's like illegal to exist. Like, you can't just have like videos of you actually murdering people on the internet. That's actually bad. But the thing is, it's not good to make it like easier, you know, because it's like kind of like almost like publishing it to kids, like trying to get it in front of their eyes, and then that's like a different moral boundary.
I don't know. I feel like the only way they'd be pushing it is if they were like showing it on like the home screen and like sort of heavily promoting gambling YouTubers.
Basically, don't enable kids to see it, but you know, you can't start like putting up hard barriers on sites if it's what people want to watch.
Yeah.
And anyway,
it's not Twitch isn't a platform for children. It's a platform for anyone. You know, kids just use it. So it's like at the end of the day, as long as you put like
but a space that's for everyone, you shouldn't be having anything
I know
in
kids are just gonna hit yes on that. But it's whatever.
I think if your account says you're over 18, it should show you gambling and alcohol drinking and stuff if you want it to. And like you said, I know kids are just going to hit that they're over 18 on that, but that's at that point, like, you know, it's out of the platform's hands, I think, at that point. Anyway, it's regardless of that. Basically, the point of the moral of the story is I have to take bins out before the podcast. And I go to empty the bin today, while I'm also cooking some fish fingers because I was hungry. I was really hungry before starting, so I was just fish finger sandwiches. And
no custard.
Fish fingers and custard. No.
Yeah.
And I thought, right, I'm going to put the fish fingers on. They take 12 minutes. In that time, I'm going to empty the bin, put a new bin bag in, all that sort of thing. Wash my hands, and then ready to eat this thing. Take the bin out, and we always pack the bin down, you know, like nobody when it gets to the top of the bin just takes the bin out. You always have to get something and shove it all
the bin and then goes, that's a full bin. That there's always more room in that bin.
Yeah, you got to shove it down. You got to really shove all the trash down in there so you can fit more in and be lazy. So of course we've done that. And I take the bin out, and for some reason there's just a copious amount of bin juice at the bottom of it. Like, just an abnormal amount. I'm thinking, what the fuck? Because I've not put anything weird in here. There's only 2 people who live in this house. Now, I ain't accusing any of them people. One of them's me. But it wasn't me. I ain't accusing anyone. All I'm going to say is there was a lot of bin juice in there. That's the only bit that matters. But the thing is, because it was so compact, when I pulled the bag out, I've got like the bin bag, but it's like hovering over the actual bin. And it's like dripping back into the bin. And then I'm like, oh, well, I can't move because it's like there's so much like juice coming out of it. and I'm not like trailing that through the house and letting it splatter all over the house. So I need to open the side door, and which is just right next to it, basically, and take it outside. And so I'm like stood there with this bag, waiting for my girlfriend to run and get some keys and open the side door, and I'm just stood with this dripping, gross bag.
Ugh, I don't like that.
No,
I'm
I
not a
didn't
fan of
like
that.
that. So I took it out and chucked it immediately in the bin and saw how much bin juice was in there. And not only was the juice in there was a bunch of fat maggots as well.
Yeah, nice.
Oh,
Nice.
God. And I'm thinking, what the fuck? This has never
Maggots
happened
truly are
before.
God's greatest creatures.
They were awful, and some of them were like still alive.
Do one of them look up at you and go like that?
No. But there were. I think there was obviously going to be like whenever you see maggots, there's a lot of them at one go in there. There's never just like 3.
Yeah.
So I think most of them were still in the bag. I think maybe that could have been why there was so much juice in that the maggots have like birthed from the fly eggs in there.
I gotta
They've
say,
eaten a
I'm
bunch
really
of shit in the
sorry for
bag.
This episode, everybody. Even I don't like this fucking episode. So
Nobody has stumbled across this podcast and just thought, I'll just listen to that one and not know how gross we are. Like I don't think this is episode 189 at this point. We don't know enough of this
on our
shit.
Spotify or whatever we host it on, and they could go right. I'm gonna give the newest one a quick listen, see what that's like. And immediately we're talking about bin juice and fat, nasty maggots wiggling about.
Well, let me tell you about the maggots then. So I think there must have been a lot more in the bag, and then some of them had like chewed some holes in the bag to get out. And that might be why more liquid than usual came out, maybe. So there was a few in the bottom of the bin that looked dead. I mean, they weren't moving. But one of them, like from me lifting the bag out of the bin, had flopped onto the floor, and that's how I knew they were definitely maggots and not just like some sort of like bits of pasta or something. Because it were like wriggling a bit. So and then of course we've run out of kitchen roll, and I didn't know about it, so I can't just like wipe the floor and things like that. So I have to run upstairs. I have to get some toilet paper. I have to come downstairs and wipe all the floor with that. I get like a big roll of it to pick up the maggot because I didn't want to feel it in any way. You know what I mean? A lot of toilet paper buffer between my fingers and the maggot, and run into outside bin and throw it in there. And I don't know. I just put a lot of soap in the like empty bin and boiled the kettle and like put like boiling water in there and like yeah. So I've just left soapy boiling water in there while it's outside. And
Soapy boiling water full of maggots.
At this point, I think my girlfriend knows she had some sort of something to do with it, because she's like, I'll sort it. I'll clean it. Don't worry, you don't have to do your normal job that you always do.
Yeah, if this wasn't something to do with her, she'd just be like, oh, I'm not going anywhere near that. The fact that she's like, oh, it's all right. It's like you're just like, wait a second.
But I was thinking, well, this is my job. I'm gonna do it. But
grab her and shake her violently and go, what did you do?
I did say that we've got like this. It's like an old scrubbing brush, but with a long handle that I used to clean the bin. And I said, if you want, you can use that brush and scrub all sides of it. But it needs completely drying before it comes in this bin, because I don't want any, even if it's like clean bin juice now. And I want it, because it's all obviously just like soap and hot water now. I don't want any of it. It's going to be completely dry before I put another bin bag in that fucking bin. But it was gross anyway. But I gave my hands. It's one of those things where it's like, it's normally never that satisfying to wash your hands, but on that occasion it really was. And I pumped like half a fucking bottle of soap on my hands and really scrubbed it. It was one of those jobs. So like my hands, I made sure were fully clean after that. So yeah, that was the bin ordeal. What have you been up to? You been doing anything? Tell me about it.
I ain't done shit. I ain't done jack shit. I've done my one thing for the next 2 months, so I'm not gonna do jack shit for it.
Well, I was hoping you would have done something, because I wanted to give myself an excuse to eat more of this camel chocolate that I'm eating.
No, it's gonna have to be a full-on Jake episode. I don't think I've done. No, I ain't done a damn thing. No.
Have you been wanking much lately?
No, I mean, same as usual.
How often is that?
I don't want to talk about myself.
No? Once
No.
a day?
No, I mean, I don't want to talk about
Fine! I'll tell you about my camel chocolate then, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
I really wanted to get into that topic. No. Camel chocolate. Made with actual camel.
Real camel.
Funny joke. No, it is. But it's made with camel
Now, when
milk.
you say, are we
Is it-
talking camel milk?
Yeah, made with camel milk. Like
Okay.
actual camel milk.
Cool.
My girlfriend's dad works in Saudi Arabia sometimes. They got camels there.
He does. He's a war criminal.
What the fuck? Where the fuck has that come from? Anyway, you would have met him if you'd have come to Midsummer. So he brought back some chocolate made from, well, it's milk chocolate, but the milk they've used is camel milk. So she doesn't like it because it freaks her out. She tried it, and to be honest, it mostly just tastes like normal milk chocolate. But
I was going to say, it can't be that sort of.
it tastes a little bit weird, but not in a bad way. But it's because, like, rather than sugar to sweeten it, they've used honey. So it's
Okay.
like it's just like a different kind of sweet in it, and
Yeah.
it's not that different, but I don't mind it. It's like just as good as normal chocolate, but slightly different. And I think that's what
Yeah.
could put people off because it tastes kind of wrong compared to what they used to. But
Yeah.
it's nothing fancy. I kind of thought I might do like a little taste test video on it, but I wanted to gobble it before I could be asked. Yeah, camel chocolate. It's pretty good. I like it.
I keep thinking you're going to say camel toe.
Yeah, camel toe. You ever
Camel toe.
you ever eaten a camel toe, Jud?
Yeah. I've eaten one of them before. I've eaten one or two of them before.
Hey, fucking lads. We are on kick nowadays, so we do have to be misogynists, apparently.
Yeah, you have to. You have to.
Yeah, it's
When
one
you're
of the
born,
rules.
you're handed this contract, and it says you have to be racist, you have to be misogynist.
Yeah, when you
Makes
sign
all
up,
of them.
that's part of the
Yeah.
terms on kick.
Yeah. Part
Have
of the
you
shit,
seen
part of the
Rumble,
crew.
by the way? That's
Rumble?
kind of becoming a competitor for YouTube. It's what
No,
I think it's what Andrew Tate's on, but I Show Speed and Kai Cenat also have a show on there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can stream to Rumble too. I'm not interested in doing that yet. I mean, Russell Brand, right? You know Russell Brand.
Okay. I do.
He's on Rumble.
Wasn't a name I expected to hear in this conversation.
Yeah, but he's on Rumble. You know, there's YouTube, there's fucking,
Mhm.
and I think it's videos he's uploading. I think it seems to me, it looks like a platform that's kind of hybrid YouTube and Twitch. It's kind of like it's pushing a lot of live stuff, but it's also like a video publishing platform. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't. It looks decent anyway. So Russell Brand's on there, and I was thinking, well, you know, it's a lesser known platform. It can't get many views. Can't be that much of an audience there. Oh my god, fucking Rumble, stop it. I tried to click on one video to see to use some data to tell you about, and it's playing an unskippable ad that you can't even fucking mute.
Great.
It's
Well,
playing it
here we
again.
go.
It's just playing the same
We're
one
not
twice in a
moving to Rumble,
row.
Jay.
It's but look, my point is Russell Brand, 1.24 million followers on Rumble, something you never fucking heard of. And on this random video, where he's talking about, it's basically a video podcast talking about censorship and power. Stay free with Russell Brand. That's like the title. 306,000 views. So it's not. It's obviously. I mean, YouTube seems like a bigger platform for certain, but it's genuinely not that. It's not a small platform.
No,
It's weird,
not.
and it's just come out of nowhere. And I genuinely think it's because they don't give a fuck. They'll let like any controversial character be on their platform. And I find that very interesting, and I kind of find that admirable to a certain extent. I just think, because there's a category for podcasts specifically and everything. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. So we're going to monitor Rumble as well. I was wondering whether it'd be worth putting our videos that we put on YouTube onto Rumble as well, but we'll see. We'll see. Currently, because of the size of us, like kind of a shotgun approach, a scattergun approach, kind of seems like the best thing to do. Just slap as much stuff as we've got everywhere, and then some eyeballs might go on it, and they might follow us. But I don't know. Rumble, just thought I'd mention that. Anyway, getting into the meat of the podcast. What the fuck have I been doing? 20 minutes and we're finally getting to this shit. Let me just take another bite of camel chocolate. Already, I'll do it like ASMR style.
I don't know who that is. I'm sure everybody who's listening to the audio version of this is loving this.
Yeah. Could you hear it?
No.
Oh, good. It's because Judd's broken his headphones. So okay, he's kind of got them around his neck to kind of fuck. I did a thing called Total Warrior. It's kind of like Tough Mudder.
Oh, you've done it. Okay, yeah. All right.
Yeah. It's a 12k run in like through fields and trees and stuff like that. But there's how many obstacles? 26 obstacles along the way.
Nice.
So I'm just going to kind of run through all the obstacles. If you watch the video version of this, you might kind of get some video demonstrations of this and kind of tell you about all of them and what it was. So we set off at like 20 past 11. The first obstacle is called Leg It. What was this? So this was... So we oh my god, the screens are all messed up on the video version. 1 sec. Sorry. Bear with me.
This podcast sucks.
Fuck you. So as soon as we started, we were kind of like hanging back at the start line of this obstacle course because we didn't want to we didn't want to be with all the fast people, basically, because we were going to be running it really slow. And we figured that all the fast people are going to be at the start. And so we had to do like a bit of a run first. I would say maybe half a kilometer to get to the first obstacle, which was called Leg It. And it was basically this really steep bank. And I was thinking, oh, we're going to have to run up this steep bank as one of the obstacles when I was looking at them before doing it. No, you had to run up it, and then down it, and then up it, and then down it. Jesus. And it was like, oh, fuck, I didn't think it was going to be like this to start with. I was so glad that this one was right at the start, because it was one of the most, like, physically intense ones. Because some of them are, like, not particularly physically hard, but, like, kind of a mental barrier, and we'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah.
So that's what this one was. I'm just going to share my screen with...
Do it.
With Judd. Actually, I'm just gonna link Judd to the obstacles, so you can be looking at those in your own time, Judd.
Okay.
But yeah, and then the last one, so obviously we're going up and down this steep bank. The last one, you had to like crawl under a net rather than running up it. So that was quite physically intense. And then the next obstacle immediately after that. So that's technically 2 obstacles. So Leg It was the hills, and then crawling under the like thing up there was another one. So the third obstacle, which was like, it was like, I don't know, 50 meters ahead of that, was a plunge pool. Where's that plunge pool? Let me find the plunge pool. I don't think the plunge pool's on. I don't think there's video footage of the plunge pool.
I'm not seeing one.
There was 2. There was like 2 big, like, it's called the plunge. There's 2 kind of big tanks of ice, and 2 people could stand side by side in it. And there was like a barrier, you know, like what's it called? What do they call them on that running thing that they do? But they jump over, so hurdles. There was kind of like a hurdle, but it was at head height. And you couldn't wade through the water without ducking your head all the way under and going under this hurdle. But as we were approaching it, we could see the marshals like dumping bags and bags of ice into these fucking pools. So there was no chance it was going to be warm in any way.
Evil grin on his
It was absolutely freezing, and I got in this and thought, and this is one of the ones that I didn't think I'd struggle with much, because it's kind of, again, this is more of a mental barrier type thing, and I've done plunge pools before, and you know, they're fucking cold, but
I've just had ice baths before, like,
yeah, so it's something that I'm kind of used to. But if I'm being honest, because you had to duck your head under quick to get under this barrier thing, it was genuinely shocking. Like, even as someone who's really not susceptible to these things, I was like, when I put my head up after it, I was like, oh, fuck! So, Jasmine was like, fucking freaking out. So it sent her, she would, like, it proper got her afterwards. She was like, so, but she was all right. She smashed it. She did a really good job.
Yeah.
But it's crazy because you get out of something like that feels like a bit of an ordeal, and then it's like, keep running. Then it's a run. Remember?
Yeah. It's all back to back. You don't have a sit down and a cup of tea between them.
No. So and obviously at this point we realised, oh fuck, this is not going to be anywhere close to a normal kind of.
This was never going to be an enjoyable situation.
But no, it's more that there's tiny things we didn't think about, because like when we were practicing running, we'd just be running and that was it. But after this plunge, which was pretty close to the start of it, we were sopping wet, so all our clothes and shoes especially were way heavier. So that made it harder, but obviously you dried as you went along. So yeah, that was a weird, difficult one. But after the plunge pool, a few of us were like, wow, I'm almost like invigorated. I've almost got like some adrenaline to go on. And I actually genuinely quite enjoyed the plunge one. It wasn't too bad. And so
Sorry, I was just going to quickly say, I'm looking at two of these things that you had to do. One of them, I can't believe they got away with calling it that for law, like copyright and law reasons, and also, wow, they got away with calling it that. And then another one just looks like actual human torture.
They were all human torture, don't get me wrong.
But one of them just looks like a big cool slide.
Yeah, well, one of them is. Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm just opening up, by the way, the pictures, and I'm gonna start downloading some pictures, because I meant to do that before this, because there's a series of pictures I can send to Judd to show him everything.
Okay. Series of unfortunate events.
Do you think you would ever do something like this?
No, what a fuck.
So far, you're already put off.
Yeah, I'm already out. Like, you were like, we're gonna dunk you into a huge freezing cold thing of water. Well, no, first of all, you were like, we're gonna make you run, and I was like, oh, hold on, no.
There is some of these, now I'm looking at these pictures, there's some of these that look absolutely fucking brutal. Like, in the pictures themselves, they look ridiculous. I'm gonna go through the pictures that I sent to Judd as well, don't worry. One sec, I'm still going. Wait, I'll go to the next course. Sorry, we do this live. I'm very sorry. So after the plunge, we had quite. This is kind of how they were structured. Normally, there'd be a bunch kind of together. There might be like a few obstacles kind of close to each other, and then there'd be a bit of a stretch of running. So there was maybe like a 1.5 kilometer run at that point, and then we got to the fourth obstacle, which was called Grand National. And this... What was this? What was the Grand National one?
I don't know. Why the fuck are you asking me?
This one is like some tires to jump over. I'm almost Oh no! For some reason on the website it shows jumping over some tires. For us, it wasn't that. It was a wall. It was. There was multiple walls on this.
This
On
is the
this
one that I
course.
can't believe they're allowed to call it this because on the website it's called Trump's
No.
Wall.
No, that was later.
Trump
that was
wall.
later. There was 3 walls.
okay.
So Grand National was a wall. Because I think it was supposed to be jumping over larger and larger hurdles like horses do. I think it's to do with that. But for some reason on ours it didn't have the smaller tires jump over. It just had this massive fucking wall. And it was really big. It was like 8 or 9 feet tall. It was really high. This was an easier one for me, and it was more of a physical one, but it wasn't too bad because there was kind of a couple planks jutting out the wall, so you could kind of get a leg up and grab the top of it. So I could kind of just get a leg up, grab the top of it, and then push my way over. But then...
I remember when Donald Trump said, "We will build a great and beautiful wall, and the Streams Badly podcast will not be allowed in this country. They won't. It's true."
I heard him say it. I
Hillary
remember it.
listens to Streams Badly. I listen to Tyler One. It's true.
Okay.
You like
Yeah. So we had to get over those walls. The girls then had to get over. And they kind of... There was Jasmine, my girlfriend, and then my friend Dan and my friend Lizzie, who were engaged. And so Jasmine would go next because she's small, and Lizzie would like shove her ass up over this wall, and then I would catch her on the other side. And then Dan would shove Lizzie's ass over the wall, and she was tall enough to drop over the other side herself. So
saying
she's
Dan
all
will
right.
just shove you over into the mud.
No, and then Dan did the same thing as me and just kind of like jumped over. So that was the next one. But then there was another kind of probably nearly 1.5 kilometers run, and then there was a few obstacles in succession. So the first thing is called Cement Mixer.
Okay.
The order of
bury
these
you
is
in
just
cement.
straight up
They kill
wrong.
you.
The order of these on this map, by the way, that this enters is just wrong because it wasn't Cement Mixer next. It was Human Barbecue.
Yeah,
Which
no,
is-
this is the one that looks like actual human torture.
Yeah, it's you have to jump over a fire. But so the fire is like on your level, and you have to jump over it. But the other side of the fire, there's like a drop, and you fall into like a lake kind of thing. I guess it's not a lake. It's like a massive puddle, basically. You fall into. I'm just double checking all these pictures because I need to send. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna send them into Judd now because there's some good pictures for the video version that I want to show you to do with this one.
Okay.
Let me slap a Rooney these on. Hopefully this doesn't mess with the stream. So, hopefully this doesn't mess with the stream as badly. Get it? That's the channel. I know that this is a bit of a shambles right now, but bear with me. I'm very sorry.
It's so much of a shambles. I'm actually going to very quickly run for a piss in the middle of it, Jake.
But yeah, so we were doing the human barbecue, and we decided we were all allowed to jump in together. So it were quite big, and it were quite a big fire. So we all kind of like stood next to each other and ran and jumped over this human barbecue, and it was a big plunge into the bottom.
I'm back and speed pissed.
Oh, Judd speed piss. Holy fuck, that was a quick piss. I mean, I'm pretty good at a speed piss, but that was impressive.
It came out of my dick with such force that it whistled.
Did it go? Did it sound like that? Was it like a pressure washer?
Yeah, it went.
Anyway, you can see the pictures now, Judd. So you can see the picture
it.
of me in the plunge pool.
I was looking at the one of you and Dan.
Oh yeah, start at the bottom of it. So there's one of me in the plunge pool, and then I was just seeing how the human barbecue with the
he's like rising out of this plunge pool, and he's obviously very cold, so he's making like a shocked expression because it's so cold. But You'll know what I'm talking about if you've seen it, but the soy jack meme of like the guy like reaching up and putting both of his hands to, like on top of his head and doing the big like O-shaped shot face. It's that exact thing.
It makes my teeth look awful. But for the one where we had to jump over the fire and then jump into this like big pool, it was full of like muddy water.
Yeah.
So we had to really make sure we held his nose and held his mouth, because you really don't want to get any of that shit in your body, basically.
Yeah.
We didn't really succeed massively, because it's almost impossible. Other thing at this point I'll mention is, there's a lot more jumping in gross water and all sorts of stuff in this. Hard to avoid it getting in your cock, apparently. Because my cock's been slightly sore after all of this. Just a little bit. Like, it's fine. But just a tiny bit sore. And I almost wish I'd worn a condom. That's how ridiculous it is. So, the next thing then was the cement mixer, it's called. And this is basically, as soon as you got out of the pool that you jumped into, so you jump over the fire into the pool, and as soon as you get out of that, there's like these kind of hills, like muddy, like small muddy kind of, you know, like sometimes out in the forest or something, you'll see like a mound that's obviously for like dirt bikes to jump off.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, but kind of still muddy. There was those. And there was like 7 or so of these. And after each one, there was just like a shit ton of mud to wade through. And it got more and more thick after each hill. So it was just wading through shitloads, but loads of it. And it was so slippy. It was ridiculous. And we got super muddy in that one. And that was the point where we like rubbed the mud on his face to like make war paint and stuff like that. And it was that one was like that potentially took the most energy out of me. All of that mud, it was so hard to get through. And it says number 7 is Mud Moguls. Let me see if there's any video for that. Yeah, so it's the same thing. It's a bit confusing as to which is which. But yeah, Mud Moguls and the cement mixer are the same thing, really. So it was just a bunch of mud. So next is, so after that we had to do another little run for a bit, for maybe another kilometre or so. Then it says number 8, Hangover. What was this? Oh god, this was physically the hardest one. There's no chance I would have been able to do this on my own. And you can see that on the obstacles page, Judd. It's like an inverted wall. So the same size wall we had to get over before, like 8 or 9 feet. But it was like leaning towards you a bit. Which made the angle to climb over it really hard. And rather than having like steps on it, it had like rock climbing handholds. Yeah. So we helped the ladies over this first because I couldn't catch people on the way down because it was like a slope on the other side. So, because of the angle of the wall. So they could just kind of slide down themselves. So it didn't make sense for me to go first on this one. Mm-hmm. So we kind of chucked the ladies over by like pushing them. And then me and Dan were going to just try and climb over it because we climbed over the other one. We took like a half-assed attempt and I just looked at him and went, there's no fucking way we're ever going to be able to do that. There's not a chance that we can climb over this wall. This is 2 like fairly portly fellas. He's a little less fat than me at this point. But like even he was like, no chance in hell am I going to be able to climb over that. He's even done some rock climbing as a hobby before. Yeah. And is used to it. It weren't going to happen. So the ladies had to come back around the walls and kind of like help with shoving me over first. Like all 3 of them helped shoving me over, and then I came back around the wall and helped shove Dan over. But we did it. We did still do it.
I know it's part of the course and everything. And like the whole thing is to do it, but there's something really funny about the image of you helping these 2 girls over this wall, and then them walking back around the wall that you just helped them over, and then pushing you over
Yeah,
the
why can't you
same
just
wall,
walk around?
and then walking back.
Yeah. I was slightly worried, but not too much. Because then I was thinking, we're going to have to skip this one. And then it's like, you've not properly done it then. But we obviously we didn't have to skip it, which is good. So there was that one. Then there was another. There was a fairly decent sized run at this point. It might have been about 2K nearly, something like that. Number 9 was Bonnie Banks. Do we have any video for Bonnie Banks? No,
I know
I don't
her.
remember what Bonnie Banks was. Bonnie Banks. What was this? I'm
not
not
even seeing
sure.
that on
I can't remember that. I think it was some of the obstacles were like they were called an obstacle, but it like just wasn't basically. So I think it might have been the like course was kind of like sloped, but like it's hard to explain. I don't think that basically I don't think that was an obstacle. Even though it was named one. Next, number 10. That's why there's no video of it, because it's like, it's nothing. It's just like the course, you know? Number 10, Back It Up. Don't know why it was called Back It Up. You basically had to like walk into this river, into this lake, sorry, which was quite welcome at that point because we were like caked in mud that was drying and it felt horrid. So we kind of just wanted to wash it off. So you had to walk into this lake, and it came to like just above my knees. And I'm 5'11", so you can get an idea of how deep it was. Obviously, mud at the bottom of the lake. No, and then there was another one of those nets that you have to kind of crawl under. You know, like the army style nets.
Yeah, I know the army nets.
But it started in the water, so you kind of have to like get yourself under it in the water and then crawl up the bank. That was kind of that was a chill one. I didn't mind that one. And then after that, again, remember after each of these obstacles, you have to run. It's a running race still. And I, on multiple occasions, we'd finish an obstacle and I'd go, oh yeah, running, like out loud. Like, oh, we have to run now. I will say at this point, to do with the running, it was probably easier physically to do this than just to run 12K, if I'm being honest. Because although they said there wouldn't be, and they tried to do like staggered start times and stuff like that to mitigate this, there was queues at every obstacle. You had to kind of wait for some people to get over it, and it gave you a nice little rest before each thing. What's next? 11 is Slideway, and this was just a big slide, basically.
Yeah, this one looks good. I'd do this bit. Can I just do this bit?
Well, you say that. I think this was the bit that got too much water in my cock. Because Lizzie said that Dan and Lizzie ended up, like, because of the queues, they went first, and then me and Jasmine went after.
Did Lizzie get it in her cock?
Yeah. Well, she doesn't have a cock, and neither does my girlfriend, but there was something to do with mud to do with that I'm not going to say. But
oh, no.
But we went down this slide and they went first and they shouted up to us, or they mimed to us, hold your nose, because she got like a bunch of muddy water shoot up into her brain, Lizzie, basically. And so I was like, right, okay, I'm going to really cling onto my nose.
Brain.
And I did. I really clinged onto my nose. If you're watching the video version of this, you can see me doing it right now. And it didn't matter, because you were going so fast on this slide. By the time you hit the water, it just pummeled my hand away from my nose and shot a bunch into my brain. So it just didn't matter, really, about holding my nose.
You've got that mud brain.
Yeah, I got mud brain. And later on, like, as we dried off from all the mud and things, like, as all the mud on us had dried, I could feel like a ring of mud crust in my nose. It was really gross.
What's that?
So that was a fun one, though, you know, just going down a slide and splooshing in some water. Number 12, it says is high jump.
I'm
What
looking
was
at that
this?
one right now. I'm looking at you with your 5 chins on.
Yeah, I have got so many chins on that one.
Yeah.
It's yeah, you basically have to jump off this big platform and try and whack a coconut. If I'm being honest, you can see on the picture Dan and Lizzie trying to hit it. Jasmine stuck a hand out pretending like she was going to try and hit it. She wasn't. She just jumped into the
don't
water.
blame her. I don't think. Did anybody ever hit one of those?
Yeah, some particularly fit people did. You can see like a kind of fit dude behind us that I would imagine might have hit it. If I'd have really gone for it, I potentially could have got it, and if I wasn't as heavy, that maybe could have got it. But as I was about to jump,
these things.
Oh, go on.
I'm looking at some of these things that they had you doing, and like I wouldn't do it because I never want to do something like this. But I genuinely think that physically I couldn't do most of them.
Well, yeah, I had to do a bunch of training to get fit enough. But as I was about to jump off of this one,
I'm just so small. Like it's like that wall that you and Dan were looking at. Like how the fuck? Like how would I?
Same
even
size
do
as Jasmine. You'd shove your arms over. You'd manage. I'm sure you'd manage. The main thing for you is you'd have to stop smoking. You have to get your lungs better.
Jesus, right? Yeah, this isn't it.
So, as I was running to jump off this thing, you can see in the picture I've even got up right now, I looked to, because for some reason I'd not looked how high the actual jump, like the fall was.
Yeah.
To get into this water. And I was like, oh shit, like that's like quite high. I'm not going to try and hit this thing. I'm just going to like focus on jumping into this water and not getting all the mud water in my brain this time. So I didn't fucking reach for the thing either. I just did not want to do that. So that's that one. What next did we have? Jailbreak, there was a little bit of a run first after that one. After that one, I felt quite tired. And obviously 12 obstacles, that's like, you're getting close to halfway obstacle-wise, but we'd run over half of the course because there was more obstacles in the back half of the course than the front half. So we were over halfway at this point, and that one had taken the breath out of me because it was like 2 cold water things in a row. 13, Jailbreak. This looks like actual fucking torture, and this was more like Trump's type of thing. Oh wait, no, this is not the one I was thinking of. So this one was so pleasant. I loved this one. Basically,
you loved the one called Jailbreak.
Yeah, it was really nice because there was these kind of like wide trenches dug, like kind of like 6 feet wide, like maybe 7 feet wide. So 2 people could get in this water, and it was deep enough to kind of like, you know, when you kind of like lay on water and you're floating. It was deep enough to do that, but you'd be like underneath these kind of planks, and they were spaced out. You could see quite clearly above the planks. So you just kind of like floated on this water and like used the planks to kind of push you along. And on this one, I was like, I am taking my time here. This is nice. Because it was like cleaning me off with the water, and it was like nice and cool and refreshing, and just kind of like, I didn't have to do anything because I was just kind of floating along under this thing. So that one was pretty good. What was next? We had quite a run then. That was the next bit was one of the longest stretches of running. And then we get to number 14, which was called Sprint King. I don't think there's any like video clips of that one. I don't remember what that was. Sprint King. Yeah, I don't. There's some again. That's probably an obstacle that I just didn't even realize was an obstacle. Number 15, though, the Shocker. And
Shocker.
Depending on what your brain's like, you might think of that as a villain from Marvel Comics or a way of fingering someone. Anyway, it's basically a bunch of like these like wires dangling down that are supposed to shock you when you run through them. I think
that's not safe. That's not legal near bodies of water.
No, you've had them like things where you put your hand on and it's like going do 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 or whatever, and it shocks you. Or
Yeah, I have, but not like in or near bodies of water.
no, this was in the middle of a field. You have to remember, we're running kilometers away from each obstacle. We
Yeah,
were
but you're
like
still
multiple
soaked
kilometers
in
away
water.
from any water. Yeah, it's supposed to shock you. That's good then. It'll shock you more easily. Listen, I think it's all a load of bollocks.
yeah.
I think there was fuck all there. I think it was just a bunch of dangling wires. It
You don't
didn't
think
shock
they were
me
even
at
live?
all. I don't think they were turned on at all. I think it's a load
Okay.
of shit.
That makes a lot. That makes a lot more sense.
So next we had to what were we on to, number 16? Yeah, we had to kind of run down this hill. Number 16. Now, this is where we come to my heart's literally just gone a bit thinking about this. This is the worst obstacle by a long way. And this is, I mentioned this on the podcast when I said we were doing it, when I was going to be doing it. It's called YouTube, which we stream on and make videos on. Streams badly on YouTube. It was called YouTube. And it's just some fucking pipes in the floor full of water and mud and shit that you have to crawl through. And in the kind of footage on the website, it's all like small girls crawling through these fucking tubes. And I'm thinking, I ain't no small girl. I'm a portly fella. I'm quite large. There's no way I'm gonna fit in this fucking thing.
Yeah.
And we got to it and I started fucking panicking. I got there and I really didn't big it up in my head. I was really trying not to big it up in my head. So I got to the actual tube and I was about to go in. I was like, nah! And I just couldn't like mentally get in. I couldn't do it. I was fucking like absolutely frozen. And meanwhile, like the other three just kind of went through, and they got to the other side, and I'm kind of panicking on the other side, like, oh fuck!
Yeah.
What am I gonna do? So Jasmine came back to be like, it's okay, and she was saying a bunch of stuff and trying to like encourage me and kind of like reassure me or whatever. If I'm being honest, it wasn't helping massively. But and then another wave of people came behind us, and I was like still freaking out. And eventually, I don't know what it was. I just kind of went, right, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. And at that point, I just like crawled in, and like I was like a slug in this tube because I couldn't crawl. There weren't enough room for me to crawl. I had to kind of like scooch my arms along and drag my legs like Joe on Family Guy when he's like out of his wheelchair. And in this tube, I was I thought because it was like covered in dirt and things like that, no one would be able to hear me. So I was like a third of the way, nearly halfway through the tube, and I was like, fuck this tube, I hate this tube, I'm making this tube my bitch, and fuck you. I was like, I fucking hate this tube, goddamn tube. And I was like,
I forgot that you're in a giant tube, which is literally the perfect echo chamber.
yeah. So everyone outside could hear me like more loud than I was actually saying it, and I didn't realize because I was busy cursing out the tube. But everyone was laughing, and especially the lady next to me in the tube next to me was like really. And
like
if you look at the tubes, if you look at them,
situation right next to you.
If you look at the tubes, there's like maybe 4 centimeters of plastic tube, like the difference between where me and this woman was. So of course she could hear me. I don't know why I didn't.
Yeah.
But I got out and she was laughing loads, and the pictures of me getting out of this tube, you can see the anguish on my face. You can see the trauma. I absolutely hated it. I stood up and I was like, oh. The whole time we were doing the course, we were trying to keep an eye out for photographers, because they have photographers, event photographers, and we were trying to keep an eye out for them so we could pose for them and make sure his pictures were nice. And everyone else, like, I'll try and find a picture of what Dan looked like after he went through the tube, for example, to show on the video version of the podcast. I got one. Dan like spotted this photographer and he was like, yeah, after the tube, and he got a good picture of him. Whereas me, I was just like, I hated it. It was awful. But the main thing that got me through it was thinking, what would I say to my sister in this scenario, my little sister? What do I always tell her? I say that it's fine to be scared about things, and it's fine to, like, for something to hurt you, like even physical pain, but it's not fine to let that stop you doing something. So I didn't let it stop me anyway. I got through it, so that was good. So I was very pleased with that. Actually, that was the worst one for me though. Like, I absolutely hated it. Do you think you'd have had a similar reaction to me on that, or do you not find stuff like that as bad?
No, like, actually, stuff like that doesn't affect me. If there was going to be anything to do with heights, no, I'm not
Right.
not doing it.
Well, the highest thing was the highest thing was a last obstacle. Actually, the high jump was the next highest. But
Oh, okay.
Lizzie's also scared of heights, so
Yeah.
But she did better than me at coping with it, if anything. So yeah, I think it's made me discover that I'm, like, in a way, I'm kind of claustrophobic, but not like. It depends. It depends, because I think it's more just a fear of being, like, in a confined space underground, specifically. Because if I'm in a tight space, like, in a building, I don't mind it anywhere near as much, but thinking about it, I probably still wouldn't like it. I think I'm kind of claustrophobic, basically. Anyway, so that was YouTube. 17 was next. That was Worm Muncher. What the
Worm
fuck?
Muncher.
Worm Muncher? What's that? I did it and I don't even know what it was. Worm Muncher? What the
Worm
fuck?
Muncher.
Worm Muncher. Let me... Wait, what's the next one after that? Mud Bomb. Okay, so Worm Muncher, I think what this was... Oh, I know why it's called Worm Muncher. Right. So this is the next picture that I've sent to you, Judd, of Jasmine doing it. This is called Worm Muncher because your face is close to a bunch of mud, basically. It was just barbed wire to crawl under. They were just straight up actual barbed wire, and you had to crawl underneath it. Do you know what? The worst bit about this weren't even the barbed wire. It was the fucking floor. There were so many, like, solid rocks, and you're crawling on your hands and knees, so your knees are bashing into these rocks. This was definitely the most painful, and all of us have, like, bruises and cuts all over his knees from this. This was awful, and there's a picture of Jasmine on this one, like, looking up, like, huh? Why am I doing this? Like, this is for real? She's crawling, and she had the easiest time of this because she was the smallest. So she had an easier time of this. Me and Dan are behind her, like, like two fat lads, like, almost touching it laying down. So that one was rough, actually. That one wasn't a great one. So that was Worm Muncher. Next was Mud Bomb. I think this was just like a really muddy part of the trail, basically. Number 19 is Trenches. Unless that's what I was talking about, Trenches. I can't see Trenches. I can't remember them all, I'm sorry. Next would be Swing or Swim. This one, I believe... Let me see if there's any footage of it. No. I think there's only footage of the ones that were on the 6K course, because there's less obstacles on that. So Swing or Swim, I think this was one where you had to, like... It was almost like monkey bars, but you had to, like, grab one pipe. So the pipe was following the same direction you were moving, and you had to kind of, like... kind of swing along this pipe and try and ring a bell at the end of this thing, and then you fell into like a pool of water, and then you had to, like, climb this wall out of it. That was kind of it was kind of sorry, it was angled, kind of like the other wall that I was talking about, but in the other way, so it's a bit easier to get over. So there was that one, and that was called Waterfall because there was, like, a waterfall falling on you while you did it. Anyway,
Well, that's nice after the crawl through barbed wire.
Next was Trump's Walls. Finally got there, which for some reason
There
on the
we go.
map version is called Warriors Walls, because maybe they got copyright sued,
Huge
although it's
wall.
still on the website called Trump's Walls. This was just the same as the first wall that we had to do, so we just did it the same. What we got next? After that, bear in mind, I'm going to remind you again, that running, by the way, between all of these, so between like the waterfall one that I mentioned and the walls one that I just mentioned, that was probably another like good kilometer or two. So more running between all of these. So then we had Log It, which I suppose kind of it's to do with logs. Get it? Log It. And this one was you had to carry logs up this steep hill. It was harder than expected. At this point, for some reason, I knew we were kind of getting towards the end, and I was getting a little bit cocky here. And you could just take one log, and the logs were varying sizes. You had to take them up this hill and down. Or if you were extra fit, you could take two, and I decided to take two. So I picked one up myself, and it weren't that heavy. It was kind of a medium-sized one. And then I kind of went, I think I might take two. But the lady who was handing the logs out, so you could either pick it up yourself or they'd hand it to you to speed it along. The lady who was handing them out heard me say that and went, all right, then take this one. And then gave me the biggest log they had because I think she heard me. I think she thought I was being too cocky and she wanted to put me down a peg. So she gave me like the biggest log they had. So I did that though. It was okay. Carried the logs up the hill and down the hill. What's next? The Alps. I think this was just a fucking... Yeah, this was just a steep hill. It was just straight up a steep hill. It was quite steep, but it wasn't anything difficult. At this point, we've done 11 kilometers. There's only 1 kilometer left. And then there's 2 obstacles within it. The next one is Hang Tough. So this is just some monkey bars. That you had to swingers try and get along all the way, but the last few things of the monkey bars are kind of like hanging ropes rather than hanging bars. And below you, there's water for you to fall into when you inevitably can't do it because your hands are ridiculously slippy from all the mud and water and everything like that. So that was good. I was not particularly great with the upper body strength stuff of this, though, and I really don't think I've got enough testosterone. Because I really can't grow a beard well. Like, compared to the rest of my I've got strong legs, but I've not got good upper body strength. I think I need more testosterone, so I'm going to stop wanking. I'm going to see if that makes a difference. I genuinely am. That's not even just a joke. I'm genuinely going to do an anti-wanking experiment, see if it helps. I'm going to have to do it for
that can't, because I'm doing it. I'm doing it all the time. I'm doing it right now.
Yeah, but maybe you're a weak baby arms as well. But I'm doing it right now. I'm going to see. At least 6 months. It's going to have to. Like, it's going to take a long while to see if that changed. Anyway, that's a side note. And then the last thing was called Peaks of Pain. And this was like quite a high wall where there was 2 kind of slats at the bottom that were hard to get your foot on, but it gave you kind of a bit of a leg up on this wall. And this was a really tall wall. This would have been like 14 feet high. And then you had to grab a rope that was like halfway up the wall and like pull yourself up it, kind of like abseiling, but in the other way, like over this wall. Lizzie found this one terrifying, but to be honest, at this point, I was kind of like, we're so close to the end. I'm so excited to do this obstacle because I'm just like, it's the last obstacle, and there's a really good picture of me like going and like pulling my way up this wall. Yeah, I like that one. And then after that, there was just like, I don't know, I would say maybe 200 meters away from the finish line this was. So we all ended up holding hands and crossing the finish line together. And we did it. It was a jolly old time. And they gave us a free t-shirt and a free beer. and it was fun. They gave us a free protein shake as well, but more importantly, they gave us a free beer. And after all of that, it looks like I'm growing a bit of a goatee in a lot of these pictures towards the end. I'm not. I was freshly shaven. It was just mud. It was just mud in the shape of a goatee. So, yeah, it was good. I enjoyed, as I predicted, as we were about to like getting close to doing it. I was thinking, I'm excited to have done this. Like, I'm not excited particularly for the process in any way. I'm excited for the end, for when it's over. And the main reason for that is because I don't have to do any of the training anymore for it. I fucking hate running. Like, I hate it. I don't know how they convinced us to do this shit. Because I really don't like running. It's my least favourite exercise by a long way. It's so boring, and it feels awful, and it's not good on my knees, and I just don't like it. There's certain types of exercise I really don't mind. Boxing especially I enjoyed loads, which is really like cardio intensive and gets you really fit. So I don't have to do running at all. But for some reason I just had to do obviously I had to do a shitload of running to practice for this.
Yeah.
And I hated it. I was so excited to not have to run like every other day. Because it takes ages as well, because I had to run further and further in preparation to run 12k. The idea was I'd run 8k. I'd make sure I could run 8 kilometers, but I weren't ever going to run 12k before doing this, because it's not worth it really. I can always like just tack on another. It made sense anyway. But so we when you're running as far as 8k, it was taking like a good hour, you know. It was taking a long while to do these runs, and it's just boring. And you know what? I got not when we were doing the actual course, because it was with friends and there was interesting obstacle courses to kind of help with all of this. But when I would run practice-wise, I'd run kind of 2 or 3 kilometers, and then I'd kind of walk for a minute or two. And then I might run another, like, 1.5, 2 kilometers and walk for a minute or two. And that's how I'd do my training until I got to the amount of distance I was trying to run. But after that first 2 or 3, I'd set off running again, and my heart would be beating, like, faster than it should do, and I could feel, like, anxiety coming on. And it's because that 2 or 3 kilometers of running felt like a good whack of running. And when you're running 8k, it's not really even close to the total amount. And when you're aware of both those things, it's like, oh, fucking hell, I've just done all of that and I'm not even close to being done. And it had set my anxiety off. And it's just, I just don't like it. What's the most running have you done much running at all? Or like, whenever you've done exercise, what have you done?
I have actually. That used to be like my main... What I'd mainly do when I'd work out is I'd just go running. I've been running like just like around, just like outside before.
Yeah.
I've been running in gyms, been running in like even back in high school whenever we used to have the option to either do something in the halls or go in the gym, I'd always go in the gym and just like get on a treadmill for like an hour and just run. So
I see the use of cardio for sure. Like if you go to the gym to do your exercise, running, I would recommend it. Like what I used to do when I was doing my boxing training, I would, on boxing training days, I'd do the fitness at the boxing gym. Like I'd do boxing and whatever fitness they gave me. But on the days I wasn't in the boxing gym, I'd go to the gym. And I'd lift some weights, but I'd do plenty of cardio as well for the boxing training. But I'd always mix it up. I'd always do 10 minutes running, like this was at the start, 10 minutes running, but I'd not do normal running. I'd do 3 minutes jogging, 1 minute sprinting, 1 minute walking, and I'd do that twice, so that'd add up to 10 minutes, because it'd mix it up, it'd make it more interesting, and then I'd get off that, have a small breather, 30 seconds or so, and then I'd get on the bike. So I'd do cycling instead. So that was something else for 5 or 10 minutes. And then after that, I'd get on the elliptical after that. So it were like, again, something bit different. Because otherwise it's just so boring. It's so repetitive and boring, especially on a treadmill. Especially when you're not seeing different scenery and things like that. So I that's how I mixed it up. at the gym anyway, but that's what I'd recommend if you only go into the gym, and you do, obviously getting some cardio in is definitely beneficial, but that's how I'd recommend doing it just at the gym anyway. You know, when you say you've like just been running about and things like that, how do you normally do it? Do you measure it in amount of time like that you've been running, or your distance?
Or what? No, I usually just run. I just run for as long as I want to run. Like
You don't measure distance or time or anything like that?
No, I just run. I just run until I go, okay, I'm bored now. I want to go home and play games.
So like 20 seconds or...
Yeah.
Maybe 30 if you're lucky.
Yeah, 30 seconds.
It'd be interesting.
30 seconds, and I go, what the fuck am I doing?
It'd be interesting to do a run with you. To see,
God, we won't
just
get
to
very
see.
far.
Like, we could do a 5k. Because 5k is fairly easy for me now. Because
Yeah.
I've done 12k and regularly done like 7 or 8. We could do a 5k, and it'd be very interesting to see how you cope with that. I've definitely noticed it's a lot easier to run very steadily, but with someone else. So run at a pace where you can still chat, and do it with someone else. That's way easier than when I run on my own and just listen to a music or a podcast. I've definitely found that. I've found that although it can like G me up a lot and get me kind of going music, it's worse because I'm a lot more aware of. I can estimate how like the amount of time I've been running for a lot more accurately because I know that songs are thereabouts 3 minutes, like maybe just over. So if I've listened to 3 songs, I know I've been going for like I'm nearly at 10 minutes. And that's not a good thing for me. I don't want to be aware of how much time I've been running. I don't really, to a certain extent, want to be aware of how much distance I've been running. I try and because I have a fitness tracker on when I've done my running training, and I don't want to. I really limit myself with checking it. I don't want to check it all the time and be like, oh, I've got this much left. Oh, I've got this much left, because that seems to make it. It feels like it's taking longer as well, but
yeah.
So yeah, basically, long story short, I'm glad I don't have to do that again. And now and for the rest of this week, and the rest of next week, I'm being fat again. Yay! I'm giving myself a bit of a break because I'm going to London next weekend as well. But when I get back from London, I'm going to sign up to the boxing gym again, and I'm not going to do running to keep healthy. I'm going to do boxing instead because I got to do something to make myself not die of a heart attack, and I don't want it to be running. I don't like running. But when we were done with it, and we were in the car going back, both the friends we did it with were like, oh, should we sign up next year? And there was a really awkward pause of me and Jasmine like thinking, fuck that. And I said, I don't know, man. We'll have to see. I'm not committing to anything now. We'll have to see how fit I am in like 6 months' time or something like that. Because if I'm as fit as I am now, I don't want to do it again. But because I'm really planning on signing up to the boxing gym again. So if that makes me a lot fitter, which in theory it should do, having going to that regularly, and I lose like a good chunk of weight, I might find it relatively easy again. So I might be all right with doing it again. But as of now, I'm not interested because fuck running, I hate it. So anyway, I think for me, what out of those that I've mentioned then. Obviously, like you can see the obstacles. Which looks like the best, like the one you'd enjoy the most, and then the one you'd enjoy the least out of those obstacles I've mentioned?
I think that the human barbecue one actually doesn't look too bad because you are just jumping straight over that fire, aren't you? I thought you'd be running over like hot coals.
No, it's that one was fun. I liked that one, and it was reasonably early on, so we were relatively fresh as well.
I'd say probably the slide. I reckon I could even get a bit of a kick out of the whole muddy water shooting up my cock angle of it.
Yeah. The best wise, the human barbecue was pretty fun. The plunge pool was surprisingly nice as like a whoa to get you going at the start of it.
Yeah.
The high jump one, jumping into the water, was pretty fun as well. I liked that one. Jailbreak was one of the better ones because of the nice relaxing bit. But I think, slide's a slide. People pay to have fun on those things. I think slide's got to take the best one, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. What about worst? What would you say is the worst?
The worst one, I don't know. I honestly think the worst thing for me that you said is just running. just all that running.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the running, it doesn't feel as bad when you've got the obstacles and you're doing it with friends.
Yeah.
It honestly, the running bit of it didn't feel that bad. I think out of all of it, what do you think about the barbed wire one?
I don't actually mind. I say I don't mind it as if I was the one doing it, but I'm not too bothered about that one, to be honest with you, because it's it's over your head, and
but it's the rocks on the floor. Like the floor was basically made of stones, like pointy stones. Yeah. They were just hidden by mud. You were basically just whacking your knees on pointy stones underneath barbed wire. That one was one of the worst ones. But for me, the worst one for sure was the tubes. The tubes was the worst one for me. I hated it. I hated it so much. I said when I came out of it, there's obviously I've done physical challenges that I've done since we started this podcast was the boxing that I did and the and this, and I'd rather fight 10 times in a row than go through one of those fucking tubes again. I just hate it. It's awful. Yeah. So yeah. That's that. That's been my Total Warrior 12-kilometer obstacle course adventure. It was fun, I guess. Weird, kind of not. It kind of was and kind of wasn't in some ways, and in some others. It was definitely an experience, and I always like experiences and stories. So I'm definitely, I can say for sure I'm glad I've done it. Yeah. I don't think I'll do it again. And we did have a nice time in the pub afterwards. And Good. Me and Dan had a picture of us both looking like fellas with our pints. Yes. So that's the podcast. Woo! Tweet at Tweets Badly and let me know if you've done any physical challenges. Let me know which obstacle course you would like to try. And let me know if there's anything that we should do. Is there anything me and Judd could go out and do on a weekend, and then we could, talk about? Might be fun. We're not running out of ideas or anything.
I tell you what. Why don't you guys go out and fucking do something? Yeah. And then come back and tell us how it's been.
Yeah. Yeah, you fucking go out and do something, and then tweet at Tweets Badly and tell us what you've done, for fuck's sake. In fact, join the stream live.
We've been having.
Yeah, we've been talking to you for fucking 189 episodes, and you barely said anything.
Wake up! Have you been awake this whole time? We're talking to you.
Yeah, join us. Kick.com/streamsbadly or streamsbadly on YouTube. Go out and do something. Tell us about it, and then we can make fun of you for doing something, you fucking loser. Right. Bye. That's it. I'm just going to say bye.
Bye.
Bye. Okay. Streams, then. Streams Badly. That's what it's called, so we should do some of it. Seen any movies on TV, Judd? Seen any of them?
Yeah, I watched Four Lions.
You watched Four Lions for the first time?
Yeah, I know.
Why?
It's crazy that I've
Did I say that you definitely have to watch that? Is that because I'm sure I was going through my top-rated stuff that you've not seen?
I feel it's like one of those that I feel if you're British you have to have seen it, but I'm also not gonna go crazy about the whole thing.
Four Lions is weird because it's something that a lot of teenagers, I think, at school heard about, but
Yeah.
I do not remember it coming out at the cinema at all. I just remember hearing it was a movie that was funny, and then you could watch it on DVD. I
Yeah.
don't remember a release ever. It was weird. Was it like it was a Channel 4 movie, weren't it?
Yeah.
Because Channel 4 like funded and produced it. So maybe it was direct to DVD. Maybe that's why. I don't know. But In Betweeners movie was the same.
I
and
really
that had
don't
released
know
it.
why it's got. I don't know why it's got such a sort of like British pop culture staple. To be honest, like I don't know why it's quoted so often. It's alright.
It's just because it's iconic. So what did you think
I
of
don't
it?
know why though. It's the thing. Like I'd give it like a 55. I think.
Wow. Rude. It's
What
so
did you
good.
give it?
It's so funny. I love it. I give it 87.
Really,
so
I
good.
really thought it wouldn't be your kind of thing.
The other scores are 83, 80, and 73. So
I don't
Rotten
get it.
Tomatoes,
I just
critics
think-
83,
don't
audience is
get it.
80.
I
IMDb
thought it was
73.
a bit funny.
I
That's
think
it.
it's really funny. To be honest, I think if I rewatched it today, it might be knocked down a few points. But I remember loving it when I was like 16. And then I have watched it since, like, as I've been older, and I still think it's really funny. I think it's just like the times nowadays, like, even if you think it's alright to kind of joke about the jokes that whole thing's about now, even if you think it's still fine, I still think you'd feel a bit awkward nowadays, because you can't talk about, because it's basically about a bunch of Muslim terrorists, but comedyized, you know.
Yeah.
And nowadays, like, there's so much strong Muslim presence, and there's a lot of big Muslim voices out there, and like, you can get persecuted like that for like making a joke about Muslims or anything like that. I think it'd feel a bit awkward and a bit scary, even just watching it, even if you're watching it privately on your own, just there'd be a little bit of that. So I think to a certain extent it was funnier at the time because it was just more acceptable to joke about more things. And I do genuinely think it's a shame.
I just thought it was mid, very quite mid.
Okay, fine.
I think even at the
think
time I would have
you're
thought it
wrong.
was kind of mid.
I mean, I don't know. I'd watch it again. I still think I'd find it really funny. It's got that same flavour as comedy as In-Betweeners and things like that. And I just love that. Like, In-Betweeners, what did I rate? Like, the In-Betweeners TV show I gave a 94. I think it's almost flawless comedy, In-Betweeners. It's so funny. There's not a single bad In-Betweeners episode. Every single In-Betweeners UK episode is a banger. It's just so funny, and it's the same vibe of comedy as that. It's not the same thing, but yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I don't think it's anywhere near as funny as In-Betweeners. Like,
Well, what did
I
you
don't
give
even
In-Betweeners?
think
You
it's
gave
the same
In-Betweeners
ballpark.
80. But do you know what I mean by the same, like, almost style and vibe?
I actually don't. I have no idea where you're getting that from.
It's maybe a bit
I'll be honest with
slower
you.
because it's a movie, but I don't know. It's just the same flavour of silliness, I think. It's not like
I
a...
think you're wrong. And I also
Okay.
don't like you because you have a different opinion to me.
Yeah,
So-
me too. Actually, I want to break up. Is that how that works?
Yeah.
So is that all you've seen? Four Lions, 55?
We're on season 3 of Mr. Robot now, which I think is the last season. So
Just out of an experiment then, because you're not going to remember what you rated it, what would you currently rate Mr. Robot?
I think currently right now I'd give it a 70.
Oh, interesting, because your current rating, well, the last rating you gave it was 65. That's pretty close.
Okay.
Do you want
Be
to
on the
change
money.
it, or do you think 65 is more accurate? Think about that.
No, I want to wait. I've got to run for a piss. I want to wait until I've finished it before I rate it properly.
Okay. Well, I think Mr. Robot's rubbish. I give it a 30 out of 100. Shall I? I need to put on the data for what I rate stuff I've added. So I have rated Indiana Jones and the Crusade. Yes, I have. I gave it a 71. Yeah, I think that's fair. So I've started watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. On the notes on this one, I'm gonna put series is confusing to know what to. Right. There. I think that's important to note because it's same with anime all the time. It's like, you know, it's hard to follow all the like branches of the series. Dragon Ball, I can get enough. There's Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Z Kai, which is not canon now, so even this is confusing. And then there's Dragon Ball Super, as well as the movies, which kind of fit between those, some of which are canon, and some, I don't know. So that one I kind of get. Even Yu-Gi-Oh! There's like Yu-Gi-Oh! GX.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
I'm just saying how, like, anime is so fucking confusing to follow what to watch when. Because like so even for the ones I understand, so Dragon Ball, I was saying, oh my god, I can hear myself now. Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z. Then there's Dragon Ball Z Kai, but that's not canon anymore, where he like turns Super Saiyan 4. Then there's Dragon Ball Super.
Is that the monkey one?
What? They've all got monkeys.
Is that the monkey one where he turns Super Saiyan 4?
Oh, what, like where he's all red and has?
Yeah, he turns into a monkey. Yeah.
He doesn't turn into a monkey for the being super. They turn into a monkey as well. Like, that's another thing that they can do sometimes when they've still got their tails and there's a certain moon.
I thought it was like 4 or 5. They just go back to being monkey.
No, none of the Super Saiyans are like fully a monkey. But Super Saiyan 4, he's got red fur and a red tail, but like he's not a monkey. That's what
I meant. They sort of go back to monkey. He's got a big like ape chest. What are you talking about?
That's his normal chest. He's just got a big chest.
That's his normal chest. He's like covered in red fur.
Yeah, the chest bit of it is his normal chest.
He's got like a big go monkey body. Looks like Luther from
But
Umbrella
that's
Academy.
confusing because they actually do turn into a big monkey sometimes. So that's why I was confused.
Yeah, no. The giant monkey thing is a separate thing.
So anyway, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Z Kai, not canon anymore, get rid of it. Then Dragon Ball Super is the current one. But there's also a bunch of movies for Dragon Ball as well, some of which aren't canon anymore because they were in the Dragon Ball Z Kai thing. But some other ones that are canon, I think, some might be alternate universe. I don't fully know with the movies. And that's an anime that I can pretty much understand. So I was thinking with Yu-Gi-Oh! As well. So there's Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. Wait, let me look this up. Yu-Gi-Oh! Series. What are they all? Yu-Gi-Oh! Here we go. So there's Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Jewel Monsters. That's still just Yu-Gi-Oh! though. Okay, so wait, no. So there's Yu-Gi-Oh!, which is the first season. Then there was the Yu-Gi-Oh! Movie. Then there was Yu-Gi-Oh! Jewel Monsters, which is still like normal Yu-Gi-Oh! With Yugi. Then there's Yu-Gi-Oh! Another movie. And then it's Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, and that's the one that's at school. Then there's then after that, there's Yu-Gi-Oh! Capsule Monsters, which then goes back to being about Yugi. Then there's Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, which is like
He's nuts.
another person. Then there's Yu-Gi-Oh! Bonds Beyond Time, which has all three protagonists together. Then there's Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal. Fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal. The fuck is this shit? Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, and that has another protagonist who's like younger, I think. Then there's Zexal 2, and there's Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc V. Now we're getting to the point. I just about remember Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, and when I heard the word Zexal, I was like, okay, I'm out. I can't be coping with whatever the fuck a Zexal is.
Yeah, what the fuck is Zexal? To be fair, what did the GX stand for?
I don't know. It's just like letters Japan likes, isn't it?
Okay.
So Zexal, I understand there was another one there. So Arc V has another different protagonist, it looks like.
Okay.
And then there's another Yu-Gi-Oh! Movie, but that goes back to Yugi again.
Oh, that one's... Yeah, okay.
Then there's Yu-Gi-Oh! Brains. Not brains, brains. Yu-Gi-Oh! Brains. What the fuck is this? So, wait a minute. So I think this has got another protagonist. Yeah, this has got another protagonist. Okay. Then there's Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens. Multiple of them.
Oh.
Multiple sevens. Has this one got another different protagonist? It looks like it. Yep, it sure has. This one's like a child. Then we
They're all
got
children.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush. So it seems like they changed protagonists more often. After like Drains.
Yeah.
After Zexal, sorry. And they all look really weird. Anyway, so I was just saying because I started watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Oh, Jesus, why?
Because I've heard of it as like the best anime, basically. And as much as we've pretty much determined, anime bad, really. I can't think of a single good anime. Even if I'm being objective about Dragon Ball Z, as much as I actually like it, as much as I like Dragon Ball, it's not good, really. So
all animes suck apart from the Cyberpunk Edronus anime.
the only one, well, again, stuff like that, people debate it if it's actually even an anime or not, don't they? You know, like
I think
Avatar,
I'd say it is.
Last Airbender.
Yeah, I think the difference with Avatar though is that it was animated purely by an American studio, whereas that was done by Trigger, which are a Japanese. I want to say
Right.
Japanese studio, but
Let
I
me
think-
look at the Cyberpunk.
I might just be lying to you all. I know it's by Trigger, but I'm just saying I like if Trigger is a a Japanese.
What did I give
Yeah,
this? 92. Yeah. So Cyberpunk Edge Runners. That's the best anime. The only other one that I remember that I like is One Punch Man. But that's because it kind of it takes the piss out of anime, basically. And I gave it a 64. It's not like I think it's like incredible. I do think it. You might like One Punch Man actually, because
I've watched like an episode or two. I do try him, but I just can't be fucked with him.
yeah, I think it's fine. I might look out for another season of that at some point, but I'm not massively eager to watch more of it. Because it's not finished yet. It's very much like there's very much more series to go with it. But I liked it because it's kind of like a comedic interpretation of how ridiculous a lot of animes are. But in doing that, a lot of the time it accidentally just is like other animes. You know what I mean? It's when you're parodying something, you have to be careful not to accidentally dip into just being the thing you're parodying sometimes.
Yeah.
I've heard, like, my impression of what I expected JoJo's Bizarre Adventure to be. I've only seen I'm not going to give a score yet, because I've seen 3, maybe 4 episodes.
Yeah.
I thought it was almost like a comedy.
It becomes that like later on, but the first like arc or so just isn't.
Have you seen it then?
So, I watched a bit of it. Like I say, I do try them, but it gets stupid, and it's just like.
Would you give it a rating?
I would. I'd give it like a 40.
Okay, because currently I've seen, I think it's 4 episodes. It's just like an overdramatic 1800s thing. There's like vampires.
Yeah.
It's not good yet,
so
for
far.
sure. In the first 4 episodes, I'm looking at like fucking, I don't know, maybe like a 30 something for me, like a 34. It's just not interesting. I'm not interested.
Yeah.
But with the scope to get
anime
better.
fans will do the stereotypical thing of going, "Oh, it's not interesting now, but you've got to wait till the fourth arc."
You've got to watch 107 episodes.
Yeah.
And also, it's like when I looked it up, there's episodes from fucking 1993. But then apparently it actually only starts in 2012. Like what? And also there's like for some reason they can't have the same show just have multiple seasons. They've got to call it something different every time. So when I look it up, it's like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Stonewall of Jism, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, The Rither of 90 Whores. You know, it's like what the fuck? It's a series. Just it's season fucking 2. You know, it pisses me off. So all I'm doing is I was looking it up on this website I watch anime on if I ever go and watch it. It's very rare I watch it. And it had all those titles on it. I'm like, I don't fucking know where to start. So I looked up a watch order, and then the watch order made it a little less confusing, but I was like, what? And then I remembered, I think I've seen this on fucking Netflix. So I just booted up Netflix and there it was. So I'm like, right, fuck all that. I'm watching what's on Netflix. They should have organised it for me. And if only watching this that's on Netflix detriments how good the show is, that's their fault. I'm not doing any more work for this shit because it's just stupid. But at the minute,
no, I know if you have to look up a fucking strategy guide on how to watch the show, it's not worth watching the show.
And that's the biggest complaint I have with comic books as well. Comic books need to fucking get their act together because you have to read like 20 different series to follow one arc and know what's going on. Otherwise, you'll say you're reading comics like Miles Morales. You're reading his comics. Yeah. For starters, there might be 3 different Miles Morales series going on at once.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, which one shall I read? The answer would be any. But it depends what you're into because they'll all be different. And then kind of the main response to that is, well, what's the main one?
And depending on what character you're into, it could be all of them, or none of them, or one of them, or 3 of them out of 7. You know, it's complicated. And then, so say, right, okay, I've picked this one. This one seems like the main one of Miles Morales, I guess. So I'll follow this guy. You'll be reading it. You'll read 5 episodes of this series, and then then the 6th comic will come out. And something completely fucking different will be happening. There'll be a massive time skip, and he'll be doing something fucking else. You'll be like, well, what happened with what we were following there? It's because what's happened is he's gone to someone else's comic. You have to go and read the Scarlet Witch's comic for 3 issues, and then you have to go read The Thing and the Fantastic Four for 9 issues, while Miles Morales is fucking helping with them, and it's really annoying. I so understand why people find it hard to get into comics, and that like actual comic books are a dying industry, and they're getting so expensive as a result of it. I completely get it. They try and blame that shit on piracy because it's so fucking easy to get any comic free online. It's so easy. And they blame it on that, and that's obviously a massive part of it. But they need to realise make it easy then. You know?
Yeah.
You have honestly, it's harder than playing The Witcher 3 to know what you're supposed to be doing. Pick that, Witcher 3. Get fucked. I showed you. Yeah. So October 2012 is when this first came out, apparently. So yeah, that's a complaint I have with that. You watched anything else, or?
No, I've not watched anything else. No.
Okay, what about games? What have you been playing?
You know what I've been playing a lot of, and it's actually like got quite addicting. Deep Rock Galactic.
Deep Rock Galactic.
Yeah. Have you seen this?
I don't have much response to that. Fucking Deep Rock. No.
What
happened to freaking? You downloaded or you picked a game when last time we were on about this?
I did, and I've started playing that, but it's going to take me some time to get through that because
I forgot what it is.
Elysium. That's going good. I think it's really funny. I'm quite like interested into the world and like exploring it more. But
what type of game is it?
It's basically a point and click adventure. So this is why I'm saying it's probably going to take me a while to get through it, because you wouldn't even touch the game at all, because the whole game is like listening to people talk.
Right.
But I'm loving it. But it's still, even for me, it's a slog. I can probably do like 2 hours most, like a max a night of that. But Deep Rock Galactic, baby, let me tell you, I can keep going that all night. It's just really fun. You just you know what this is, don't you?
No, I've not a clue.
You have no idea what Deep Rock Galactic is. It's your dwarfs and you're mining in space, and that's all I've really got to tell you, because that's the whole thing. It's great. I love it. It's really fun. Even though the gameplay cycle is like a loop, basically, of like the same things, it's still always fun.
And do you know what I want to say just on that?
Yeah.
A lot of the time, people complain about the gameplay loop just being the same thing over and over again. That's fine, so long as it's a satisfying, fun thing to be doing over and over again. Because I've recently been thinking about this with a game that I've been playing, which I'll get to, but like, it's just a different kind of game, and games like that you can sink hours and hours into, because you're just like, you might be watching something while you're doing it, you're just mindlessly having fun doing this like nice little thing you enjoy doing, almost like, you know, people who like knitting while watching stuff. Knitting is the same thing. You do the same thing over and over again, and eventually you get like a scarf, And it's like same with this. You be doing mining shit as a dwarf over and over again, and eventually you mine a thing. I don't know actually what happens when you do stuff, but you can tell me.
You know, that's the whole thing, yeah. That's the top and bottom. Oh, you shoot bugs as well.
This does
bug
look really
shooting.
fun.
That's fun.
I'm just looking at pictures of this now. It looks really cool.
It is. It's great. It's like it's a 4-player like online multiplayer co-op thing. Each class does something different. There's 4 different classes. It's if you can have a team of like everybody, it does really help because like they complement each other a lot. Like each of the different classes, but it's also not a complete deal breaker if you just all want to play the gunner. Like it doesn't matter, but like it also can really help. It's great. I ain't really got
I'm
anything
adding it to my
else
games
to
to play.
say.
It looks fun. Looks a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Can you just play it on your own?
What?
You play it on your own?
I think you can actually. I've not. I've always been with a team whenever I've done it, but I'm pretty sure you can.
So I kind of prefer the idea of just satisfyingly like mining away to myself. Maybe shooting some bugs while I'm mining. Wait, that's
Yeah.
Minecraft. I should play Minecraft again.
No. You see, in Minecraft, you don't shoot bugs.
You ever seen a spider in a cave in Minecraft, Judd?
Yes, but you don't have space guns. You're not shooting it with space guns, and there's not like a huge like 200
guns.
bug swarm coming at you. So
I think what I actually want to play is Satisfactory. I think that's the game I actually want to play. I like the idea, right, of a game where you're like a dwarf, space dwarf fella. You go and like mine shit, or you like go out on top of the world and you gather a bunch of stuff to basically make like a factory. You know what I'm saying? Like you can build like systems. Do you remember? Did you ever play Tekkit on Minecraft?
ever play what?
Tekkit, the Tekkit mod.
No. I didn't even play Minecraft. I don't know why you're asking about playing modern.
It's hard to explain. You basically kind of just like, so you can build something like a macerator, and you might put an iron ore into the macerator, and you get 3 iron. You get 3 iron dust from it, and if you smelt those, you get iron bars. So you get 3 from it by having a macerator. But you have to power the macerator, so then you have to build a solar panel, and to build a solar panel, you have to go out and gather some more stuff from underground, and then you can pipe stuff from the macerator into fast furnaces, and then you've got like a production line where you go out and get some stuff, you plop it in, it kind of organizes it all for you, and just creating all of that sort of shit. I love that. And Satisfactory, I think, is quite a lot like that. It's Satisfactory. Factories. And
I get it.
And I'm guessing that's not what this game's like, actually. But
No, it's not. I think there could be room to like maybe add stuff like that. But yeah, I'm saying this. I'm not saying this that like there's not a lot to do in the game, because there is a lot to do in the game. There's like probably about, I want to say, at least 12 different sort of mission types. They'd have like events that are on all the time. It's not something that I'd usually bring up, but the overworld's really fun. Yeah, like where you're just picking to do missions.
yeah.
That like just that bit's like really nice.
Cool.
Oh.
So what do you actually
good.
do then? You just go and mine stuff,
You mine stuff and you shoot bugs.
and like why? What do you do once you've mined a thing? What do you do with it?
You put it in a big tub, and then you stand around it and you go, "We're rich, we're rich, we're rich," and that's it. That's the whole thing. It is great fun. Let me. It's the only multiplayer game that I enjoy like playing with other people, because like.
Right.
Usually in any other multiplayer game I play, I'm always thinking to myself, fucking hell, everybody around me is just shit, and I have nothing to do everything to make sure this goes as smoothly as possible. Whereas in this, it really feels like a team effort. Even
Does
like
it feel
if you
a bit
want,
more like
you're
Sea of
not
Thieves?
even necessarily having to be like, oh, you know, we've got to do this and then we've got to do this. It just sort of like the natural flow of it is like it becomes a team operation, and you genuinely end up becoming attached to like your teams in it.
Does it feel a bit more like
So-
Sea of Thieves?
Yeah, I'd say it. It's you never played Darktide. It's actually more like Darktide.
Right.
But and it pains me to say this because I was really looking forward to Darktide, but a much better version of Darktide.
Okay.
Because I mean, just more to do and there's more.
So it's
variation
kind of
between
like
that.
halfway between Minecraft and Left 4 Dead then, in how it plays,
I guess, yeah.
but different. Obviously, a different setting than either of those.
Yeah.
I don't know whose internet's
Yeah,
messing up.
it's
Either it's
really-
mine or yours. I think it's yours, but you're quite
Probably
buggy out right
mine.
now.
Mine's been shitty.
Okay, one sec. I'm just adding some.
Bugging out? Bugging? They're coming.
When did this come out? Feb 2022. Guerrilla Games. Fucking Guerrilla Games made one of the best games ever, then one of the worst games ever. Stupid fucking studio.
What did they do? What did they make?
The Horizon games.
Oh, did they?
So what would you give it then? What score are you going to give this game?
I'd give it a 75. Is what I'd give it.
Nice. I'm just wondering what to rate Stray. I just don't think I've played quite enough of it yet.
Have you made the cat walk forward?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have played the game.
Have you played it though?
No, I know what it is. I'm just taking the piss.
Ion Life. I've not played that. Why is it the rating on for
I
me?
wouldn't. I just wouldn't. Like, it's not. It wasn't like
You gave it 60.
terrible. Yeah, it wasn't terrible. Like, you know, it was still all right. But I wouldn't go out of your way to do it. Do you have Game Pass? You don't have Game Pass,
I've got
do
this
you?
PlayStation now, isn't it?
Okay.
Oh, I've
Right,
got
I
no,
don't
I'm
know
not
if
because you can get
it's
Xbox Game Pass for for PC, can't you? No, I've not got it for PC now.
Yeah.
I've got PlayStation now from when we played Fallout, but
Yeah.
I've kept it because I was playing Horizon Forbidden West on it for free. So and that's basically like a £40 game at least nowadays, and
Yeah.
it was £13 to play New Vegas as well as that. So that's a pretty good offer. So I've kept it on another month because it's because Stray's on that as well. So
Yeah.
it's for us to play Stray, but it's also allowing me to play the game that I'm currently playing, which is Avengers. Playing the Avengers game.
Oh no.
It's
Why?
not got
Why
a
are you
good
playing
reputation.
these games?
You know what? I shouldn't. I flipped a coin, right? Because I did. Whenever I flip a coin, I always have two options. I have one that's for my head and one that's for my heart. And obviously, heads is for the head option, the smart one, and then tails is for my heart option because my heart is linked to my cock. And I flipped a coin and it landed on tails because I just wanted to play it. I don't know. I know that it's not meant to be great. And it's not great.
It's not.
But I think they've improved it a lot since it started, maybe. Or something. I don't know. I think people were just. It's definitely one of those things where people have definitely over-exaggerated how bad it is. Because it's not a bad game. It's not a bad game.
For me, it was the writing.
Oh, you played it?
No, I watched like a full playthrough of it.
Really? The writing's not that bad at all. I quite enjoy the story.
What is the fucking... It's the one with her
I've not
in
played it
isn't
all, by the way. Kamala.
It's Miss Marvel, the
Yeah.
Miss Marvel. she says something like, she's like, like one of the first scenes when she's like, you know, she's standing up to this bully or something, and she's like, when adversity comes your way, you plant your feet like a tree in the fields of justice. And I know the whole scene is meant to be played off as like, oh, you know, she's such a dorky weirdo. But like, the whole way through, I'm like thinking, shut the fuck up! Like you're my protagonist, and I'm rooting for the bully.
Cunt. You're such a cunt.
I'm rooting
she's
for
a
the
fucking
bully.
cringy kid, of course.
I know she's a cringy kid. I don't want my protagonist to be a shit cringy kid.
Yeah, and for that's literally for like less than a minute of the game, and then she fucking grows up.
Her
It's like
personality does not change.
you're just boring. You're just so dull.
She has the same personality.
No, she
throughout the
fucking does
entire
not.
game.
She doesn't.
She does this.
Also, it's not even as bad as you're making out.
There's a scene in it where she's hacking into Tony Stark's account and like the Avengers mainframe. You know, the smartest guy in the world who's like made robot
It's not the
suits and is like
Avengers
a tech billionaire. And she goes, I wonder what his password could be. Maybe it's I am Iron Man with no spacers. I'm in. It's like, shut the fuck up. Shut up.
Yeah, that's not great,
I hate it.
that bit. But you're literally talking about just the very start of the game. And bear in mind, I'm not saying it's
talking
perfect
about
by any
the
means.
main character who is persistent throughout the entire game, whose attitude
And you've
never...
cherry-picked the only 2 moments where it's bad at all.
So, I mean, there's also any scene that she shares with Bruce, because that's all just cringe.
What? Why?
Because both of them are cringe. She's literally got the personality type of, oh, I'm this dorky weirdo teenager, and he's got the personality
It's totally
trait of,
not just that simple. This is
I
like
am
saying,
the-
oh, no, what? 100% I know what's happened. You've watched someone play that, and then you've gone, oh, I know what type of character they're being trying to get at there. Fucking dork. No, it's not that simple at all. No, you've just decided that that's what it is. You've seen like you cherry-picked 2 fucking scenes and decided that's her entire personality.
Character then.
You're not even saying a name. Michaela's character.
I don't,
Great.
because that's how uninteresting her character was.
God. There's way more to it. She's having to learn to be an Avenger when the Avengers have all been sent into hiding because of all the events that have happened.
Oh my
She has to learn to grow up from being a dorky, annoying teenager because she's got the entire fucking world on her shoulders. Judd, you've referenced 2 fucking scenes that are both within the first 7 minutes of the game. Like, there's a whole, like, 40 hours after that.
Brainiac's gross as fuck. Not Brainiac, MODOK. MODOK's gross as fuck.
Good! That's good! That's a good thing!
No, that wasn't a complaint.
It's ridiculous just to say, oh, writing is shit, because you've had 2 lines that make up not even a percent of someone's character. You've not even played the fucking game. You've watched some scenes out of it and decided that one of the characters is cringe when she's these for like 2 moments.
I'm not critiquing like the gameplay because I didn't play the game, but
well, let me tell you, Judd, the gameplay is worse.
Shit.
The gameplay is probably one of the worst bits about it.
It does look it. It does look it. When
Listen, listen. Let me inform you correctly here, because your opinion's dumb. The writing in it, the story's an enjoyable superhero story. It's not massively amazing by any means. Like, it's definitely not as good as the Spider-Man stories. It's not as good as Miles Morales' game either. In fact, it's probably the worst modern superhero story that I've played, but it's good. It's enjoyable, at least so far.
The same studio, though, is it?
No. So Insomniac did the Spider-Man games, and it's who is it here? It's like Crystal something. It's what are they called? Crystal Dynamics. That's it.
We did Crystal Meth when we were writing this piece of shit, more.
Shut up. fucking annoys me. But this is what I genuinely, it's so annoying because I can totally see that this is what people have done to form their opinion of the game. They've just decided, oh, this is bad then, and not actually fucking even thought about it for a second. Because the story overall is a nicely decent story. It's not like absolutely incredible, but I enjoyed it quite a lot. And the gameplay is, I will fully admit, very repetitive. It's very repetitive. It's go to area, fight enemies. Go to, and they're the same enemies all the time, really. It's a bunch of like bad guy agents, and there's mechs as well. And they all work for one bad guy corporation. I get that that's very repetitive. There's some slightly different missions where it's like, oh, defend the innocents from the baddies. Don't let their health drop too low. And then there's like, oh, free the innocents from the cages while baddies attack you. There's, hold more of this area than the baddies can. There's, it's like basic missions and shit. I get it. And there is bosses in it as well. But realistically, I don't think that's much to hate on a game. I think people are too snobby with games nowadays, in that, like, if it's not an open world ultra dynamic experience, they think that it's shit. No, that's just more like mid-level, a game like that gameplay. And to be honest, I enjoy it a lot. There's different characters to play as that have different abilities to kind of take on these challenges with. It's a bit similar to Lego Star Wars. You do the same fucking thing in Lego Star Wars all the time. And people love it. So I don't get why it's hated on in this game so much.
Nah, the writing in Lego Star Wars was better.
Writing in Lego Star Wars is good. I ain't gonna say shit against it. They don't even speak in that game.
No, I was gonna make the joke that it's literally just the Star Wars movies.
But it's no less repetitive than those games. So I like it a lot. The biggest complaint, I don't know if Judd can even still hear me.
No, I can hear you.
The biggest complaint I have for it is basically just that the menus are too complicated. There's all sorts of shite in it. And I can't... It's so overly complicated that I can't really even begin to explain it. There's skill trees, and you can level up each character individually. There's different gear that you can equip, but that doesn't make you look any different, because there's different costumes you can have as well and unlock those. This is all normal stuff. But then, there's like factions, and you can do faction missions, and I don't know how to accept them, but I don't know how you find them. And then there's like other missions, and I think you access all the missions from this like holographic table. I don't know what most of the icons mean on there, and it's hard to explain because it's just so complicated. But it's not that much of a problem because you can just ignore it all and just fucking bash the baddies, and it doesn't matter. It's so long as you grasp the basic stuff, like, oh, I've got a new gauntlet, I'll equip it, it's better. Like, the really basic, easy to grasp stuff, as long as you can do that, which everyone should be able to, it's fine. And to be fair, you've played Destiny, haven't you?
Yeah, I played it. I played that for a few hours.
How long ago did you play it?
About a year.
Well, yeah, that'll do it. I think for me it was nearly a year ago. The amount of different like menus and different types of missions and all sorts of different like tiny things that you could know about in that. It's similar to that in that aspect. The other thing is it automatically, even if you're doing the campaign, it automatically tries to match you with other people online trying to do the same mission as you. So like you might be doing the mission as Iron Man and they might select Hulk to do the mission. I don't want that, so I've turned that off. But you can select what companions you want to bring with you and unlock them and level them up and stuff, and they level with you as well. So if you're doing a campaign mission, all the enemies are going to be the same level as you no matter what, and your teammates will be the same like level as you. They'll scale up. That's quite nice. Something I really didn't like, and it's because this game's been out a while, the first thing that it shows me when I booted up the game was
a montage of the entire campaign.
Okay.
Like, it just showed me, like, almost like a trailer for the campaign, but it showed, like, loads of key moments from the campaign. But because I'd not played the campaign, I was like, is this, like a prelogue kind of thing? Showing me, like, a bunch of stuff that's happened before my story's gonna start? But now I've been playing through the campaign, I know, no, that was just the campaign. So I don't know why the fuck they'd show you that first, when it's the first time you've booted up the game ever, and it never shows you it again. So there's definitely not great stuff about it. My score is a 58. Which I think is, if I'm being objective, I think that's generous. I think realistically it deserves a 50, but because it's superheroes and I'm enjoying it for some reason a lot, so I think 58 is a good score for me. Metacritic critics gave it 67, audiences gave it 49, IGN gave it 60. So my score fits right in there with what other people have said anyway. So, but what I wouldn't recommend it to other people. But what I will say is, I think it's a similar scenario to Nickelback for me, in that it gets more hate than it deserves 100%. It's an alright game, especially if you like superheroes and bashing things.
Okay. Are we doing a video today?
No. I just want to mention how satisfying that was, because obviously I've got music going on the stream in the background, and it ended just as I was finishing that, like, kind of spiel. That was quite good. No, I there's some video ideas and stuff, but I think we'll leave it for a little bit. Yeah. I've got to go into work tomorrow. That's annoying. Anything else that we played? Oh, should we have a look at the scores for this fucking game that you've rated?
Oh, yeah, okay.
So it's on Xbox as well. I really don't like that Metacritic separates their scores for stuff into different platforms. So, like, for example, the Xbox One version, Metacritic gives 83. The PS5 version, they gave 85. It's like, come on, it's the same fucking game. Like, so your score for it then is 84. You know what I mean? It's like...
Yeah.
And then or 85, I guess, because the PC version, they gave 85. And then the user scores, like, are different as well. So the PC version, the user score is 85. The Xbox One version, it's 78. And the PS5 version, it's 75. It's like, it's the same fucking game, really. And I know that certain platforms might be massively incompatible, but come on. And then IGN gives it 90. So you actually gave it the lowest score out of anyone there.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting.
I'm not gonna say it's like groundbreaking or anything. It's just really fun.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
All right then. Well,
I'll give you a rating on Disco Elysium when I finished it in 2 years.
okay. In 2 years.
I don't have any evidence to say that it's a long game, but it just feels like it's going to be a long game.
Right.
And like playing it is just such a long process anyway. Because like when I said to you that I wanted to find a game that I'd just like fall into and like immerse myself into, I am doing that with this. But it's because of that it's going to take me so long, because I'm literally going to click on everything that I can possibly click on, and I'm going to listen to like everything that every person has to say, because that's what I'm like with those kinds of games. The only reason I don't do it all the time on Fallout New Vegas is because I've played the game like 30 times. So like I already know the entire script of Fallout New Vegas, so it's fine.
How much of it do you think you could recite from start to finish?
I think a good bit. So the first thing that, okay, so it starts off, you're being put in the hole by Benny, Jessup, and the other great Khans. And Jessup, I've already fucked this up because Jessup says something, but I can't remember what he says. it's something along the lines of like, can't we just leave the guy dead out here? And then Benny says something along the lines of, it might be like a con to show no respect, but I ain't a fink, you dig? And then he turns around to the player character and he says something like, sorry to do this to you, pal. From where you're standing, this might just look like a 20-carat run of bad luck. And then he shoots you in the head. And then you wake up in the doctor's office in Good Springs, and Doc Mitchell says, "Whoa there, easy, pal."
He does.
Take it
I remember
slowly
that
now.
one. That's the only one I remember.
You got shot in your noggin back there. How you feeling? And then you do the whole character setup thing, and then he takes you over to the vigor tester, and he goes,
Can't call him that anymore.
Anyway, I can do a lot of it. A lot of it.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna keep playing the good game of Marvel's Avengers. I fully understand how it seems like I might be blinded by my superhero love here, but I genuinely think it's an alright game.
I was gonna say that.
No, even like that's why I tried to give it like a my score, which is the one that goes on the spreadsheet, and then like a more objective score. I think 50. I think it's pretty average otherwise. Maybe most people might find it a bit boring, so maybe just a tad below that. Maybe like a 48 to 50. I think is an objective score. I think it deserves. But for me, 58, I don't have a problem with. And I think that's kind of because the older I'm getting, the more I just crave like a more simple, fairly linear game. You know, like I said, I were enjoying the Ratchet and Clank reboot because it was basically just like a nicer looking version of one of those games from PS2 era. I just think like it's nice. It's nice to play a more simplistic game every now and then like that has a story you can tune into after beating up some bad guys. It's kind of like a story that you watch and then have a break to beat up some bad guys, and then there's some story and then you have a break to beat up some bad guys, and yeah. Good. Ratchet and Clank's better though. Okay, well, we're done. Again, if you have any ideas for videos, Judd, just let me know. Or just come up with some ideas. That'd be good.
Hey, I did the spooky videos one. That's my quota for the year.
We should do another in-person stream at some point and play something or something like that soon.
Yeah.
By the way, we had another like random YouTube short pop off again. But we had one that, like that Geox advert that got 1,850 views on YouTube Shorts, and then do you remember we reacted to a clip of a guy on a tractor like grabbing a beer like mid-ride at one point?
No, I don't even remember that.
Well, we did, and it's nearly got 1,100 views as well on Shorts now. I don't know. It's so weird because at one point, for some reason, YouTube Shorts seemed to be dead for us.
Yeah.
Like, so back in May, 1 view, 0 views, 1 view, 0 views, 1 view, 3 views. And this is still May. And then one got 27 views. And then I posted like a quick one of me like tasting this kind of Prime Energy that got 577. And then after that, we're looking at 298, and then we got 359, 176, 24, 47, 362, 157, 500, 137. I don't know what the fuck happened. It's just that like it was weird. So, and then the latest one we published just earlier has got 0. But it's only just been published earlier, so
okay,
be expected. And then TikTok's just the same all the time. It just they all end up around 200 views, and that's it. So, like, well, the last one has only got 50, but then the one before that, 250, 128, 91, 260, 0 for some reason, 99, 181, 300, 201, 204, 221, 196. TikTok's a weird platform, man, because you get a lot of views, technically, but it just doesn't do anything. It's just like it feels like view botting in a way, you know, because there's like no feeling of getting the views, if that makes sense. I don't know. But yeah, we should be done now. I need to walk to the shop real quick and also play a good Avengers game. Yes, well, hey. Right then. Okie dokie. Am I right?
Yes.
What are you gonna do about your
Okay.
headphones?
I think I'm gonna keep them. I'm just gonna keep them like this. To be
Do you
honest.
normally play games through speakers, or do you always use your headphones?
I always use my headphones.
So you're gonna have to get some more.
Yeah, I'll
it's
need to
gonna
get- I'll
be,
need to
it's
get
gonna be
them more,
maddening.
yeah.
What are you gonna like order some, or do you just wait while you're near a shop and buy something?
Yeah, I'll just wait till I'm near some sort of thing like game or something, and I'll just go in and I'll get some.
Do you want me to link you the wireless ones I was thinking about getting?
I feel like there'd be more chance of me breaking them if they were wireless.
Really? I didn't think so.
Maybe, depending on how much. I don't want to spend a stupid amount on headphones. I don't care that much. Like 30 or 40 feels like too much. So
Right. Well, these are 55, so
yeah,
although
it's not terrible, but
pretty, they kind of look like what you've got, to be honest.
yeah.
Let me just bang that in case you want to have a look at that. Yeah. Okay. Right. I'm going.
All right.
I just